Hello everyone, Wade from High Tech Legion here, and with over 1,500 videos uploaded, if you haven't seen it here, you may not have seen it anywhere. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you the PowerColor Turbo Duo Radeon R9 285 graphics card. This has been set up to replace the Radeon R9 280 from AMD, and so without further ado, let's take a closer look at the card and I'll tell you about the specs and our experience with it. So here we have a closer look at the PowerColor Turbo Duo Radeon R9 285 graphics card. It has 2 gigs of GDDR5 memory on it with a PCI Express 3.0 slot and a 256 megahertz bus. So the core clock is clocked at 945 megahertz, which is slightly overclocked from the 918 megahertz of the reference speeds for the R9 285. The other thing that you're going to notice right away is that we have a custom cooler on this, and it has a pure copper base and lots of fins in there for keeping the graphics card nice and cool. You've got this interesting double-bladed fan on here, which I found to be pretty successful at keeping the graphics card cool and also for it to be running nice and quiet. I really couldn't hear the card over other system noise even when it was overclocked. You do have a plastic shroud on here, pretty thick plastic shroud that has 4 screws. You could take it off if you really wanted to, if you wanted to paint it for some reason or something like that. And it has these red accents with a black plastic. So you can sort of see in here the fins for the cooler. Underneath you can see the heat pipes and the PCI Express 3.0 slot. On the top here we've got our 2 6-pin power connectors that this requires, and you can also see on the back the 4 screws that hold the heatsink in place. You do have connectivity options for Dual-Link DVI-I, Dual-Link DVI-D, DisplayPort, and HDMI. So with the AMD Eyefinity technology, you could easily plug in 3 monitors in this card. Especially if you were just using it for desktop mode or something like that, you would have to run your games at a little lower setting than Ultra if you were trying to run three monitors off of one card. But potentially in Crossfire, you'd be able to run games at a higher, definitely a higher detail level with the R9 285. This is a bridgeless Crossfire card. It does just plug into the motherboard and will run Crossfire right through the PCI Express bus as long as it's supported by the motherboard. And you also have AMD TrueAudio support, FreeSync support, DirectX 12 support, which is preliminary, but based on those preliminary information, this will be supported, or this will support the DirectX 12 standard. As I said, it is overclocked from the factory slightly, though you definitely can push it a little further. We were able to push it 10% higher without a problem. With a cooler environment, easily you'd be able to push it a little further and have it be nice and stable. It does support Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 with the newest AMD Catalyst drivers. And now let's take a look at how it performed with the benchmarks. I hope you all enjoyed this overview and benchmarks for the PowerColor Turbo Duo Radeon R9 285 graphics card. Definitely you can see that it performs very well as a mainstream card, and you're getting between 40 and 100 frames per second depending on what games you're playing on ultra and very high settings for your gaming. And so with that, you definitely get a nice card. However, one thing to definitely consider is that it is designed to replace the R9 280. It performs very closely to the 280 in a lot of tests. So what you really need to keep in mind is that you don't need to run out and replace your 280 with it, but if you were considering a 280, then definitely consider the 285 because you get some new features with it, such as FreeSync, AMD TrueAudio, and support for DirectX 12 when games start coming out with that. So for the full review, see www.hightechlegion.com, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Take care.